Thank you for taking the time to watch this episode of Life Support. If you enjoy the content, we would ask that you like it, hit subscribe, and share it with your friends. Hey, welcome to Life Support. I'm so glad you're here. We on this program love to tell stories, and we talk about how Jesus enters lives and how he changes lives. We talk with people who are about the business of spreading the gospel, people who have been redeemed by Christ. And today our guest is Dave Boeltl, who is I guess you'd call yourself a missionary at the end of the day, all these different areas that you're involved with. But welcome back. It's great to have you here. We talked a lot about your hockey ministry in Canada, but you also do music. You also are involved with incarceration recovery. Is that what you called that? And your work with the Native people in Ontario is really exciting. But I'm really curious about the incarceration part of this. So tell me how that kind of evolved and what kind of areas that you're working in.
It started through music. I originally went into Stillwater in like the mid '80s with my church, and that was the first time I was like in a prison, and I'm in Stillwater. And now Greg Coleman was in that group, and if you remember Greg Coleman, he was the punter for the Vikings.
Yep.
And we went in. But
people would know him from his preaching on the sidelines before Vikings games on KFan. Steve, what did they call that? Sunday sermons or something like that? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a great punter as well.
Yeah. But going into I first went into Lino Lakes it was 2002. And that would come through music. And so I started a mission band in the early 90s called the Rotators. And that's still going, that band is. And we just mission places or go some places where other people won't go or whatever. And we kind of always thought we were kind of wired for incarceration or prisons, but we didn't know how to get in or where to go. Mm-hmm. And I think we tried a little bit. And then I had a guy in our hockey ministry who actually was incarcerated. And I was on his visitors list. And I went down to Faribault and visited him once a month for like 7 years. I went down there. But then he got transferred right at the end of his incarceration. He got transferred to Lino Lakes. And so I go visit him at Lino Lakes. And he says, I just got in this Christian program called Prison Fellowship. Mm-hmm. And it was IFI, Interchange Freedom Initiative was the name of the program, under Prison Fellowship. He said, and they're looking for bands. I said, hey, I got a band. I said, well, who should I call? And he said, call this guy, Charlie Bench. And I'm going, I know Charlie Bench. He's a native guy. And we had partnered on some things through Overcomers, this other ministry. I called Charlie, and we played. Within 2 weeks, we're playing in there. We were the first band in there, and that was 2002. And we brought all our own stuff in. They didn't have anything, and now you can't bring nothing in there. But we brought the whole sound system and everything, and they got an auditorium, get 300 guys in there. It's called Friday Night Revival or Friday Night something. And so it started with music, being able to play music, and what I had learned and worked at, and developed an ability to be able to do that. It became a door opener. It became a ministry weapon. Mm-hmm. Thought I was going to say tool, mm-hmm. Ministry weapon that God was able to then use. So I've been continue to go in there now. 20-some years I've been going in and doing that. And then that was 2002, and I heard about mentoring, but I was so busy with what I was doing all that during those years, I didn't have time to do that until 2008. And then I started mentoring in 2008 through the Prison Fellowship Mentoring Program, and I did that until the COVID hit in 2020. And I did over 20 guys.
Wow.
And you're with them for over a year a lot of times. And that was excellent. So I got going doing that, going in once a week with guys that are inside. And you get assigned a guy, and you meet every week. And then It's right. Usually, it's right before he's released and goes back into society. So it's part of their reentry support that of guys that want to mentor.
Which is very hard.
It's hard, so then they get out. Then you agree to meet together when you're out too for 6 months or so. So you're with them about a year. So that's how I got going on that, and I still like that. That's probably my favorite thing to do is just meet with somebody inside or else outside. Just support them through that and be like a life coach.
Yeah. Friend, life coach, helper,
supporter. You don't borrow money, and you don't drive them all over the place and stuff. Advisor, it's someone and I'm usually almost always like I'm more mature in the Lord than they are. They're younger spiritually, and got a bunch of great stories, a bunch of great friends out of that. So I continue to do
tell
that.
me a story of someone that you worked with that you said, oh, wow, God's really done something here with this person.
There's two brothers, and they both had just a horrendous childhood. Two brothers, and got basically raised themselves, and they got in trouble right when they're like 12, 13, 14 years old. They're in the penal system the whole time. They get into adults and continuing in and out of prison, can't stay out of prison. They're in their mid-20s, and I get assigned. One of them is ready to get out, and he was actually my first mentee in 2008. And we meet inside. It's great. He gets out, and we're going to agree to meet on the outside, but he doesn't do it. I lost touch with him for 10 years. And he went back and was doing what he was doing before, drugs and alcohol and dealing. And his brother was 10 years later. His brother is incarcerated. And brother comes up to me and he says, hey, Andre, this guy, his brother, got in a bad motorcycle accident and he's in assisted living. He told me where he was, and I was there the next day. And I showed up in his room. Andre, he's like late 20s. There he is laying in the bed.
Yeah.
One leg works, the other leg doesn't work. Motorcycle accident, like 100 miles an hour. Drugged up. He put your hands out, I think, when you crash your motorcycle. Both his hands were a mess. He'd been in a year. I said, how many operations you had? He says, I don't know. And I asked him, I said, would you sooner, I don't know why I asked this, but would you sooner have all your faculties, because he may never walk again, this guy. Would you sooner have all your faculties but know you're going to be incarcerated the rest of your life, or would you sooner be laying in this bed and know you're never going back to prison again? I think I would take the incarceration part. And he said he'd sooner be in the bed here. I said, I can't remember quite what I said, but did you surrender to the Lord or commit to the Lord or rededicate? And he said, yes. I said, when? He says, right after the accident. Right? And I got to mentor him. And so we spent a year to a year and a half being professional church visitors. We went all over. So Sunday mornings, I'd go get him. And
by the way, there are a lot of professional church shoppers.
Everybody knew we were showing up because he'd be in his wheelchair,
Oh, yeah.
And we come and he after a year and a half, I said, well, okay, that's it. And so he picked one of the churches that I suggested, Substance Church, downtown Minneapolis, at the old historic Wesley Center. And he's still there today. So I go visit him over there and show up once in a while. And some guy would carry him upstairs, the guy that had been incarcerated, would carry him upstairs and then bring his wheelchair up. And then he would stand up in the back there for a little while, and he'd continue to get treatment. The years go by. And so about 2 years ago, I went over. I'm looking for him. I can't find the wheelchair. I said, where is he? He's right over there. He's walking.
Wow.
He's walking.
Wow.
And so Andre's one there that I'm one of the people that came alongside of him, and then after 10 years was able to mentor him. So, and I actually wrote a song for him played it for him too. And the name of the song is "I Met a Mighty Warrior," because he's a warrior for the Lord now, where before he wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really rewarding for you. And then so, God's never done with people.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes we give up on them, but God never does. And I think the other reminder too is if you're praying for someone that is straying or is not a believer, who knows who else God has in their lives, that's doing the same thing and is interacting. And so God is always at work. God is always pursuing these people. And he uses people like you and me that are willing to just say, hey, I can help,
It got his brother going too. His brother sobered up spiritually after that too, because he saw, just that traumatic thing happened, and his brother is now on staff with Teen Challenge.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're both just testimonies of just the redemption of how God just takes the crashes in our life and uses them for good.
Teen Challenge is amazing. I have so much respect for that organization. But you've been developing relationships. I mean, you talked the last time you were here about visiting this same town in Ontario with the native people over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, the relationships you've developed there must be very precious. I mean, you've been going there a long time.
It's family. So I got like two lives. I got one down here in the Twin Cities, and they don't know about the one up there. And I got one in Canada, and they don't know about the one down here.
You're a double life Christian.
I am, and I kind of I halfway fit in both, sort of. And I'm a pilgrim here on the earth, so
yeah.
So
when you're up in that town with those people, have you seen generations that you've been able to help as it's passed down to the next generation and the next generation? You've been going for like 40 years, right? Something like
46.
that. Yeah.
Well, there was great revival that went on in this community in the 80s, because I was one of the hockey team, the hockey outreach stuff, which I was the director of. That was one entity of Oconto's efforts there and others. And missionaries came out of Oconto that lived there, families, and other things that went on, and wonderful revival. Many got saved, started a church. There's these great success stories. That's in the 80s and the 90s. So their kids, though, they're now being able to transfer it on. That's not the best words, but that's a real call, a real responsibility, and a real purpose that God wants us to do. But that's not necessarily the easiest thing. But yeah, I've for sure seen it through. I'm running hockey schools for the grandkids. I did one I was up there in February. I did a hockey school in this community. And I loved it. The kids are just these precious jewels, and being able to help them and coach them and see them work on the ice and see there's just some kind of life that comes into them when they're learning.
Yeah, and you have an opportunity to be there as they're developing and as their worldview is being shaped.
Yeah, we get them we always feed them. We always get them in the locker room.
As long as you feed them,
they'll
be there.
Feed them the famous peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah,
and apples and blah 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 other stuff, and we feed them the Word of God too. So we always have a time with them where either have a Bible verse theme, and it goes all week, so we got them 5-6 times. There's actually a second community. I've done 13 in a row. It's called Mishki-Gogamang, and I started a hockey school there 2000 and I don't know what, 13 or something. But we've done 13 hockey schools there. That's really been more of an emphasis here in the last years. And those kids, I don't like saved adults going with the Lord. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems that God is really using athletics in a unique way in
Yeah.
our time. That the young athletes that are so bold for Christ just blow me away with their courage, and it is like God is doing something really unique in the world of athletics right
Yeah.
now, because athletics is a powerful way to instill those values in them, right? And then the gospel with it.
Yeah, yeah. And athletics, it's a lot of life skills, life skills. But it's a way to get people together.
Yeah. Like you said, the first time you said, like, hey, I'm not, you invite them to church and they kind of yawn.
Right.
And then you say, let's go play hockey. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So it's like you're having church in hockey, and they don't really know what you're up to, but
Yeah.
you know exactly what you're
Yeah.
up to.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that in the early years, during a hockey game, I mean, these are tough games, and you're competing. And they're testing us. And within hockey, you can be tested. Other sports for sure, but to be able to show the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, long suffering. To be able to, when God's got to put that in us. So we don't have it.
It's the fruit of the Spirit.
It's the fruit of the Spirit, and
Yep.
when you can do that in a challenging situation to people, that speaks a lot about what God does, what the truth of God, who's the real God, that is able to put that in, and you can display that in a
and so they're
hard
pushing all your
situation.
buttons to see
They're
if it's
pushing
real.
the buttons. There's, I mean, in Canada, I've never played a home game. And
Yeah.
the referees are the brothers of the guys I'm playing against or whatever, and then they've come back to us afterwards how they'll tell us, yeah, we were testing you. I was seeing what you were really like and what you were going to do with what I did to you. And that's not exclusive to Native people at all. I mean, people do that.
Sure.
And so that was one of our main testimonies that we tried to do, is show what, and I think it's just what we're supposed to do is show what God has done in our lives, and that's appealing, because we all need to be rescued.
Yeah.
We all struggle with sin, and God comes and cleans us and frees us.
Jesus is the remedy.
He's the remedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So as you look back over all these years, hockey with Native people, music, incarceration, help, all these things, what have you learned about God through this journey of yours? Because it's a really cool journey. Like, I mean, your story is amazing. And what is something that you can say, oh man, God, I see God in a new way, this way? It can go on forever, right?
Yeah, that kind of continues
Yeah.
on. But I really enjoy the maturity and the discipleship and the learning that I've gotten through the years. I think I'm a much better qualified leader than I was back then, and I can look back at some of the decisions that I made and go, I really I should have had. But yet I'm leading a lot less people now than I was there. I'm more like an advisor and a consultant, although I still am organizing and doing things, but not as much as I was. But I can maybe give a little bit of an example, but it's like, I just think I understand the Lord better, if I could say it that way.
Yeah.
A more his true character, and that's way too minimal saying that, but the trueness of how God is, and I think just the relationship. I just enjoy the relationship with the Lord, with God, and it continues on. It gets better. I would say I'm ready for heaven, because I almost died.
Yeah, tell me about
I had
that.
a brain aneurysm on March 7th. And that's
just a couple months ago.
Yeah, and so I'm like rolling along, talking at a table with people, and and I just collapse. My head hits the table, and I fall on the floor, and my heart stops, and I don't remember any of this. And no, I didn't have any visions of heaven and all of that stuff. I was just out until I woke up in the hospital after the surgery. And they go up and they pinch off. The brain aneurysm is like your blood vessel has a little polyp or something on the side, and that bursts. And blood bursts into your brain, and 50-50 you die, no matter what. And I wake up, and I got this monster headache, and I'm nauseated and sick, and I got 9 things coming in and out of me, and they tell me I'm going to be in a hospital for 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm going, huh? I was just sitting at a table talking,
Yeah.
And I thought, that's a really good way to die. And I actually would have taken that. And I'm a songwriter, singer-songwriter, written lots of songs. I got a bunch of songs about heaven. I got 5 or 6 of them about heaven. And I think I'm 78, so like with my age and all of this, I'm thinking more about that, and how great that's going to be. And it's one of my messages that I have to people, and I would have taken that. Anyway, I did 2 weeks in there, and it was a mess. It was hard. It was lots of meds and lots of pills and lots of shots and opiates. It's like the headaches are so bad. It's just like you can't get out of bed. I didn't eat for 2 weeks ish, and lost 20 pounds, and I'm not. And my muscles are wimping out, but I wouldn't take it back. A little bit more on this. I'm going through this and I'm just seeing God do stuff, and that may be even more like what I'm learning, what I've changed, or what. I just see God working through that camera there,
Yeah.
I just see it, and I like it. And so what's going on with me, and I'm just laying in bed, and just seeing God do stuff. And I did 2 weeks and then a week at home. After the 3rd week, I started to recover. And I don't know, it's been 2-3 months. I started skating, and then I'm playing. I'm like 98.7%. I'm playing hockey pretty good, actually. I had to do a lot of
God
work
has more for you to do.
Yeah, here. Everybody's happy I'm here. Oh, I'm glad you.
Yeah.
I'm going, well, I think I would have.
Well,
I could be in heaven right now. Instead, I'm here with you.
The more you learn about Christ, the more you want to be with Him. That was the whole debate Paul was having with himself, right? I really would rather be with Christ, but okay, I'll stay here as long as I have to. But I'd rather be with Christ.
To live is Christ and die is gain.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks a lot for sharing your story. It means a lot. It'll help a lot of people. So thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. The more you learn about Christ, the more you appreciate who He is, and He is watching out for you. You may not know it, but He is. He has His eye on you. And what Dave's talking about is simply surrendering your life to Him and allowing Him then to shape your future. And you can do that by just asking. So that's really exciting. My thanks to Faith Radio for helping us out here at faithradio.com. You can see the video version of this at fivestonemedia.com, and you can check us out here at Ridgewood Church as well at myrwc.org. And thanks a lot for listening to Life Support.